Apple Podcast. And if you are on Apple Podcast, please leave a rating and review. It will help us out tremendously. And of course, you can go to our website, thesportscast.net, or on our app, the iOS App Store, The Sportscast. You can find us there to listen and look at the latest news. Last night, the NBA All-Star Game 2021 was a hit. It was a tournament, a game that was questionable at the beginning of the season.
Right.
It happened. It was a success in Atlanta. And joining us all the way from Chicago, Illinois, Jordan Vargas. Welcome back to the Sportscast.
I'm happy to be here.
Jordan, what a weekend. I think what made this weekend different from like the other years that the All-Star Game and also the other events were in one night.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it worked out well.
It actually did.
Having all three events in one night.
It actually did. And it would actually, the energy would seem like it was there. Earlier we saw a little controversy on the All-Star Game. LeBron talking about how he really wasn't sure if he wanted to attend, but it seemed like the energy at the All-Star Game was good.
Now, there's been a lot of changes in other industries, condensing things down.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see in future events where, future All-Star weekends will be just in one night, or do you think they'll go back to like 2 to 3 nights?
I think it's pretty traditional to have them All-Star weekend versus an All-Star night. So I think when times go back to normal, hopefully we'll see that transition go back. But until then, I think this is going to stick around for a couple more years, just for protocol and just for safe measure.
Yeah, which, by the way, there was some news today. This is off topic. The CDC said that if you take the vaccine, you don't have to wear a mask.
Man, I hopefully get everyone gets that vaccine, man.
So it's pretty interesting. Which you're very young, so you might be at probably like towards the end.
I'm definitely gonna be the last. I'm gonna be the last Mohicans getting that vaccine.
Exactly, and plus, I found out this weekend, which everyone didn't. Well, most people might know. I didn't know that you run cross country, so you're a pretty healthy kid.
Yeah.
When you work out, your immune system increases.
Yeah, it builds up.
It builds up, which is something that I've been learning more about health. I've become more of a health expert this past year than any other year. Anyways, back to our regularly scheduled program. Last night, Team LeBron defeated Team Durant 170 to 150.
Correct.
It was one heck of a night. Team LeBron dominated. Giannis won the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry, at least for the first half, was the man.
He was. Curry had 28 points. Giannis had 35 points. So those two together. Dame had 32 points too. I mean, he had more points than Curry.
Damian Lillard came off the bench. It was pretty good.
Yeah, he was.
Now, Jordan, what was your overall thoughts of this game actual? And then we'll talk about like the other events after this recap. But what were your thoughts over this All-Star game?
I think the All-Star game was good. It seemed very traditional compared to other past years. And, it seemed normal. You really couldn't tell that anything was off. The stadiums were kind of empty, but they had it set up where they had virtual connects. You can connect into the game via
bubble
television.
Style.
Yeah, kind of like bubble style. And there was people in the crowd, and it just seemed like it was a good environment. The players were smiling. They had a good time. And, of course, they didn't hit the 200s, but they ran the score pretty high.
Something that I was not sure. Yes, there was a crowd. There was small. I believe they had 2,500. But I think at times they put some fake noise into it. Maybe not. Maybe they.
I'm sure they did. I mean, they do that at NBA games now. I know the Chicago Bulls do, and the Atlanta Hawks. They have a little sound guy, so
yeah,
I'm sure they added it on just to keep the. When you're watching from the television, you remember past years at the All-Star game. So.
Yeah, something that is been running quite common in other sports leagues as well.
Yeah.
Team Durant, on the other hand, was very disappointing between Zion Williams missing wide open dunks to airballing threes. Yeah. This team did not have much. Beal was the leading scorer, 26
Beal had 26.
Points.
Harden had 21. Jason Tatum had 21. Zion had 10, and Kawhi had 8.
What happened here? Was it something they're just not motivated, or Team LeBron was stacked, or like way too stacked?
I said earlier, a couple episodes ago, that Team Durant was going to win it because, in my opinion, I saw Team Durant be more stacked. But the more I looked at it and the more I just was watching, the highlights go over and over again, I saw I made a very big mistake. And I don't know, Team LeBron just seemed like they dominated. They had more leaders on their team. And I don't know, I was a little disappointed by Team Durant, to be honest, even though it's an all-star game and, everyone's supposed to be goofing around. I'm like, Zion Williamson does not need to be missing wide open dunks when he was in 10th grade windmilling from the free throw line. I mean, it was, but it was an all-star game. Everybody had fun and they continued it, and now it's over and people can look back at it as another successful all-star game.
Something that which used to say that, but I thought it was very successful. I think it felt, yes, I know LeBron won again, like his fourth time in a row, but I really do think that this all-star game was much more appreciated.
It was.
Yeah. I think like the previous ones were not jokes; they were kind of like low key, entertaining a little bit. But I thought this one, because of the pandemic, you kind of appreciate it more a little bit. And then of course LeBron playing, I guess, was like a big factor. Now
he only had 4 points though.
What happened there?
I don't know. But no, I think I appreciate the players though for really, there was some back and forth. Darren Fox said, if I'm being completely honest, I think this is stupid. And then LeBron, this is before the All-Star game. This is when there was a discussion of one. And then it seemed like they kind of all put themselves aside and just put the fans first and said, let's put on something for people who tune into us day in and day out. And then they did that.
Yeah, they did that. And Joel Embiid actually is in COVID protocol, so he's out for 5 days. Like the thing is, he's been exposed to COVID. Never got COVID. Right, he tested negative yesterday and today, so he's been exposed. But he'll be back now. If he would have played for Team Durant, things would have been different. Maybe.
I mean, I don't think Embiid would have put 20 back up, but I think would have made it a little bit more interesting.
And also, one thing I noticed, or everyone noticed, this is the first time that Stephen Curry and LeBron James played together.
Yep, we're on the same team,
and worked out well, because I thought those two didn't like each other, but it worked out well. They're both from Akron,
correct?
And I thought Curry was going to win the MVP,
right? But I mean, Curry won the 3-point contest. He was on a roll.
Yes, and we'll get to that right now. Steph Curry won the 3-point contest for the first time, even though he's participated several times in the past.
The last time he came close was against his teammate Klay Thompson, and Klay Thompson took him.
Now, if Klay Thompson was healthy this year, it could have
went the other direction. But Curry put up 28. 28 is extremely, extremely hard to beat.
It's difficult, isn't it? He beat out Mike Conley and Jason Tatum in the final round. Curry's final shot, a 2-point money ball. Yep. Put him one ahead of Conley for victory. He became just the 7th player to win the contest multiple times, and the first to do so since Jason Capona in 2008. So,
wow, little fun fact.
Yeah, so interesting stuff. Curry, of course, he's a 3-time NBA champion. Never has won this contest. Everyone thought that he was going to win it eventually. He did finally. I'm not saying towards the end of his career, because he's 32, 33, right?
Right.
So. Yeah. Now athletes are playing till like their late 30s, so there's still
he still has time.
He still has time to, and hopefully win another championship, because I like his style, But he can't carry a team like Jordan.
No,
that's the thing with him.
Yeah, but Jordan, when he stepped on the floor as a Bull, I think what made him a leader. I don't want to get off topic, but what made him a leader was that when he arrived to Chicago, I believe in '80, his first shoe came out in 85. When he arrived in 84, I believe he arrived in 84.
Yeah, 84,
he was he was a leader. He immediately established himself. Curry, when he arrived at the Warriors, he was kind of a late round draft pick, came out of a small Division I school, Davidson, and then he progressed and became Curry.
Yeah, and
Michael was the man since day one.
Yeah, right about Curry, because there was one other player ahead of him that was a star. Didn't work out, and the front office at Golden State saw something, and Curry is like, he's the man. there were some doubters, of course, because he's small, but he, hey, he became the man, put
He did.
some weaponry around him with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, and obviously a good coach. Mark Jackson was a good coach, but couldn't take him to the edge. And of course, I got Steve Kerr that took him to the edge, and hopefully they're able to resolve it, even though they're at the 9th seed of the West. Very competitive West with Utah up in first place. Slam dunk conference, Jordan. Anthony Simmons made history at halftime. First time a slam dunk contest at like the halftime during the All-Star game, which I personally thought was perfect.
Yeah.
And by becoming the first Portland Trailblazer to win the 2021 ATT Slam Dunk Contest. What were your thoughts about him winning it?
It was good, and he was the one. Obi Toppin was the finalist. I don't know if it's Toppin or Tippin. Obi.
I think they were saying Topin. Wait, Toppin. I don't know.
I'm just gonna call him Obi.
Obi, perfect.
Anyways, Obi Top. It's so hard not to say.
Obi Toppin.
Obi Toppin. He did good, and I'm glad to see him was in the dunk contest, and he actually did fairly well. And we, kind of people from New York got to see more of a taste of him. And if you watched him at Dayton, you would see that he was throwing down some insane dunks. So it was no surprise that he was going to be in the All-Star game, but he held his own against Anthony. He held his own.
Simmons rose high above the basket for his contest-winning dunk and appeared to be attempting to kiss the rim, stopping just short on the successful one-handed jam. It was an easy dunk. He was trying to kiss it. I don't think you're able to do that while dunking.
I mean, you have to really get high up there.
But that guy he could jump so high, like 11 feet.
Yeah.
Easily. I thought that
my favorite dunk though was Obi when he jumped over his dad and Julius Randle
or his other colleague. Yeah.
Yeah, he windmilled it, jumped over two people who are 6'7", I think like 6'3", his dad, and windmilled it over both of them. So I thought that was an impressive dunk.
Cassius was the other player. Cassius Stanley. He was the other.
Cassius Stanley out of Duke played for. I think he's on the Pacers.
Correct. He had a good first dunk, Jordan, but then after that, he's just flying.
Well, I remember Cassius when he played high school at Sierra Canyon.
How was he then?
Sierra Canyon is one of the top high school teams in the nation with Bronny James, which is LeBron James' son, Dwayne Wade, which is Dwayne Wade's son, and Scottie Pippen Jr., which is Scottie Pippen's son. So that team was stacked. So if you guys watch his high school tape, you'll see he was doing some insane dunks. So I was happy to see him in the All-Star game.
And all those sons were better than Michael Jordan's son because Michael Jordan's son.
He played at Whitney Young, which is Magnets going to Chicago, and then went to University of Illinois, and they went to UCF, but they never had the career that Scottie Pippen or Dwayne Wade's son's going to have.
Your boy, Domantas Sabonis, won the 2021 Taco Bell Skills Challenge, defeating center Nikola Vucic. The big man continuing to rule the Taco Bell Skill Challenge.
That surprised me. The big man winning. But I mean, I guess anything can happen. But he's a good player, so I give it to him.
Anything happening with the NBA All-Star Weekend? But yeah, Team LeBron won. Steph Curry won the 3-point contest. He should win the MVP. Giannis won the MVP. Sabonis won the Taco Bell Skill Challenge. And Anthony Simmons won the Slam Dunk. Jordan, I personally think, and maybe NBA won't listen to me on this, but I think they should have it all in one night. I think it worked out well. Slam Dunk contest at halftime. Hey, well, yes, the alternative will be a halftime show. I understand. It could be some type of singer or some type of group playing. But I like the Slam Dunk contest and the halftime show. I'm not sure what you think about that.
Only reason why I'm against that is because it doesn't really give players much of a break. True. The All-Star Weekend is really for other players who aren't participating to, fly down and watch, their teammates compete. So if it was in one day, that's not really a break. That's just kind of a day off for people who aren't playing. And by that time they return back. They're back to working. So I think the All-Star Weekend's a good time for a break.
You make good points there. And I know that TNT was asking Stephen Curry about, hey, how's your arm? I mean, are you tired after the 3-point contest, now playing the game? Yeah. He was like, no, man, just warming up. He was probably tired. You know?
I like Curry. He's extremely humble.
Very humble guy. Hopefully, he'll take the Warriors to the playoffs. Now, Klay Thompson, he's out all year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so well, it's only him
That
and
that that's
Draymond.
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Hopefully, we're not going to see another D Rose situation where it's physically he can't keep up.
Correct, because because it felt like he'll be out for a year, then he re-injured himself, so it's quite different how things go during the All-Star game and throughout the night. There was news that Blake Griffin is joining the Brooklyn Nets. All-Star, six-time All-Star, agreed to the Nets with a person of knowledge of details. He became a free agent Friday night
Yeah.
and then completed the buyout with the Detroit Pistons. He's joining the All-Star clutter with Harden, Kyrie, and Durant. Jordan, what are your thoughts?
This is getting out of hand.
What do you mean?
This is getting out of hand, if I'm being honest. I mean, Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. I mean, that's a lineup right there. And we had a conversation earlier. Are the Nets gonna stay number one, or the Sixers, or the Sixers gonna stay number two? You know, are the Sixers gonna catch up? After that, Santiago, that's not gonna happen, especially with Blake Griffin. I
Do you
mean,
think
those are
this
some
is
all
a
stars.
tipping point for the Nets?
Correct. I mean, those were Team USA guys back in 2016.
But how is Blake Griffin's playing level? I mean, has he played these past 6 months, this past year? Is he still good?
Yeah, he's so good. I think he got stronger and he definitely worked on his shot too. People kind of go after a big man shooting like him since he was mostly known when he was in LA for working down with the post and, maybe making a couple mid rangers, but he got his shot down. He got stronger. He's getting a little bit older, which is gonna, maybe it's gonna make a little impact on the game. But when you have someone like Durant to back him up, or not, I'm not saying the same position, but you have the leadership and you have the energy. You have Durant, you have Kyrie and Harden to keep. They know what it's like to be at that level and to be a superstar like that. So they're just gonna keep pushing each other.
By 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 Griffin going to Brooklyn, this gives him the best chance to win an NBA championship, way more than he was with the Clippers. And now he'll be a role player supporting the trio of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving as the Nets push for their first NBA title. Griffin has struggled so far this season due to injuries, worth of injuries, but his talent and pedigree make him well the risk for Brooklyn. Sean Mark says Brooklyn's very fortunate to have the veteran big man. 13, he gave back over $13 million in order to secure his free agency. So now now Brooklyn is a powerhouse. This is a super team. This is a team that is it a guaranteed championship? Well, you still got to play those games.
And what this situation kind of reminds me of, especially since you live in Miami, you recognize when LeBron, Dwayne, and Chris Bosh, and then now you got Harden, Durant, and Kyrie. Udonis Haslam is kind of like the Blake Griffin for them. So you were kind of seeing that little change, of a role player that's back up, but he'll back up. And what's good about Blake Griffin is that he could back up Durant, and he couldn't really back up Harden, but he can back up Durant if he needs to. He can back up Harden maybe a little bit, but so it's gonna be good.
Would a team like LeBron and the Lakers be worried now?
Yeah, well, especially since the Lakers are falling. I mean, they're in the fourth place.
Spot. And Utah's rising.
Yes, correct. So it really, and earlier in the season, it was opposite. Utah was like fourth, fifth, and now Utah rose to number one. When you have people like, Donovan Mitchell, who is up and coming point guard in the NBA, even though he's been in the NBA for a couple of years now, he's just starting to grow. Rudy Gobert. So I mean, you have a few players.
Something to definitely look at. Yeah, like this Utah
but
team.
The Lakers should be a little stressed out.
Stressed out. The Clippers, I don't see much sight in them, but I see a lot in the East. It feels like the Sixers or the Nets are the favorites to win it all. Of course, Utah in the West. But hey, second half of the season starts Wednesday. Jordan, and it's interesting because like the last final game possible is actually July 22nd. So it goes on to the middle of summer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be.
That's gonna not leave, and we'll see what NBA Summer League brings too. And that may not leave much room for NBA Summer League. And I don't think the NBA can really go another year without having some type of preseason training, because I think the training camp this year was good, but it it was kind of funky the way things were done and the people that were traded or waived. So hopefully the summer league will allow players out of college to really showcase their skill.
Something to definitely look at. And all these the dates changes because of COVID, but now with the vaccine, things are hopefully getting a little bit more normal, but only time can tell.
Right.
Jordan, you were featured recently on a news segment up in the Midwest of Chicago. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I live in Naperville, so my Naperville television, we got in contact and they wanted to do a news segment on me, just being a kid, kind of in their backyard, having a podcast and working with different people and having different experiences. So they gave me a nice little 5-6 minute interview, and they got some footage for me. If you guys don't know, I ran cross country. And so, though they were at a lot of our events, since we were one of the only sports during COVID to really continue. So, yeah, we worked out a nice interview and they gave me a nice little segment.
And he also mentioned
We also mentioned the sportscast.
And it was awesome, really awesome that they mentioned us. And of course, Jordan, very talented figure, cross country, knows a lot about basketball and sports, comes from a good family. And hey, he's only 18, so
they get Santiago. They gave you a nice little clip. They took a screenshot of the website, and then they had you right there.
Yeah, I know, that was very generous of them. And of course, hey, Jordan is a big asset here at the Sportscast, and really glad that you had the opportunity of being part of this great network here. And of course, you see Jordan here running across country, which is tough. You were telling me you ran 7-8 miles a day.
Yeah, depending on training, it was easier or it was hard. Usually it feels like an easy day. It was like 7 because you're not going very fast. But if it's a hard day, it got pretty difficult.
Jordan, what keeps you? How do you keep up with that endurance to keep running that long and that far?
Yeah, I really started running when I was younger. So I come from a running family. My uncles ran, my grandfather ran, my mom ran. So I don't know. It's kind of in the family, I guess, just to keep going. And I had to build my endurance over and over again. So
there you have it. And Jordan Vargas, cross country, but also Sportscast NBA contributor. And you can definitely follow us. And we have some news later on with Jordan Vargas, more integrated with the Sportscast. And also, you've been posting clips on the Instagram. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've been posting, kind of reaching a new level of engagement where people can have more of a visual and watch a video versus then having a photo and feel obligated to like it, when they can, watch a nice little clip and give them more of an insight. And usually what I like to do is, if they have a question in their head, I would like to answer it and put it on a video. So it increases their attention, and it will just, some of the graphics, kind of put maybe ESPN or Sports Center, Clutch Sports, graphics and a little bit of run for their money. But, I'm me and Santiago working behind the scenes to create different designs and hopefully grow.
And love it. Really appreciate it. And you'll definitely see that more in the future. Anyways, we got to run, Jordan, but what is the best way to reach you online?
My best way to reach me is on my Instagram, Courtside with Jordan. It's Courtside and then WJ. You can reach out to me there. You can see the interviews of some of the people I've interviewed, and you see all the people I've interviewed, and you see different clips. And you can listen to my podcast on CWJ Sports Podcast, where I have exclusive interviews and great conversation topics that I believe that people would like to hear.
And you can reach us at the Sportscast at thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net, or on Twitter at the Sportscast1. This week we got Victor Rocha on Thursday nights, and we're gonna definitely dissect more of the NBA in the next couple of weeks. NFL's a couple of trade deadlines coming up. I mean, a couple of deadlines, not trade deadlines, but a couple of deadlines coming up in the world of sports. And of course, soccer is coming along as well. Anyways, Jordan, wow, what a weekend.
Yeah,
I'm feeling very NBA'd up. Looking forward towards the playoffs. And
when should we break the news, Santiago? When should we tell them the news?
Let's break the news till we get a date. How about that?
There we go. We'll set a date.
All right. Well, Jordan, I really appreciate you coming on to this